Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today is going to be the last POOLaide webinar of 2021, so thanks so much for being here. Today is Wednesday, March 31st, 2021. If you can believe it already, we are a quarter of the way through 2021. I am Katie Crysdale. I'm here from Lakeview Aquatic Consultants, and these are the POOLaide webinars. So we've been meeting every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday throughout the month of March to talk about different topics that relate to aquatic professionals and our industry. We've seen an incredible variety of presentations, and this will be the last one today. And I'm really, really excited. I'll be introducing our presenter in about 15 minutes. Her name is Darcy, and Darcy is going to be talking to us today about TikTok, which was probably the #1 most requested topic in 2020. And at that point in time, I didn't know anybody on TikTok. I hadn't seen any good TikTok accounts relating to aquatics or the swimming pool industry. So very, very excited to get connected with Darcy and have her present today on TikTok, everything about it. And I hope you'll have a look at the profile while you're waiting, if you haven't already. Her content is hilarious. It is so spot on for those of us who are lifeguards or swimming instructors or who've spent any length of time in the aquatics industry. It is just so on the nose. So especially the one we're going to see today in the clip about the Band-Aid, just, yeah, really makes me smile. And it's fun to watch TikTok as a phenomenon on social media. It's not something that we are doing. Lakeview Aquatic Consultants, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on YouTube, obviously. I'm looking at some other options, but TikTok is not something that I've thought about doing. So I'm really interested to hear Darcy's perspective and the opportunities that it's brought her and her aquatic facility, how she leverages it in her community in Southern Ontario. So thanks to those of you who are here today. Really, really excited to be able to bring this topic to you. Let's talk a little bit about the sessions that we've had the last few days. So today is Friday, so we had a session on Monday. And Monday, no, sorry. Oh my goodness, it's not Friday, it's Wednesday. Sorry, just realizing it feels like Friday because it's a short week here in Canada. Some people are celebrating Easter, some people are celebrating Passover, so apologize for my confusion. I'm thinking short week because it's kind of Thursday. So we had our session on Monday. Monday, March 29th, we had a session with Sarah Teveldal from Flash Pool Photography based in Austin, Texas. We had a really interesting session with Sarah. She was talking about adding value to your aquatic facility and your programs with photography. So I've been following Sarah on Instagram for a number of years. Her photography is absolutely magical. Everything from mermaids to maternity shoots to swim schools, little baby swimming, competitive swimmers, competitive athletes, product photography for different brands, for different bands, different music bands. She really does incredible things with water and photography. And in the session on Monday, Sarah and Matt were talking about the ways in which you can boost your facility profile, the profile of your programs, your amenities by improving the quality of the photography that you use. So whether that is your facility and your staff purchasing one GoPro with an underwater case, or maybe an underwater case for your personal phone and using the photography, engaging with it during in-service, during programs, during special events, or whether that is bringing in a professional photographer for 1 hour in conjunction with a special event, or whether that's hiring a professional photographer to take portraits of your swimming families or your competitive athletes, and how that can be revenue as part of your facility, or whether that can be revenue to pay for the cost of advertising your facility. She shared a lot of great strategies with us on Monday. You can go ahead and see all of the PowerPoint slides that she provided. Those are directly on the show notes, which I have pinned or linked in the chat box. And then the recording will be up as soon as we are able. So I just loaded on our YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the chat box. The webinar from Friday, March 5th. And after today's session, I will also be loading the week 1 recap. So we're starting to get a little bit of a rhythm to uploading different recordings on our YouTube channel. I've been getting those video files sent to me with small tweaks, and those are going up as soon as we get them. So hopeful next week we will get the second week of webinars up, and so on. Some of these sessions are quite long. I was listening yesterday to the Blind Girls Swim 2 session, and that session was almost 2 hours. So it does take us a little bit of time to recap these sessions, to update the show notes. The show notes are really, really valuable as well. So if you're only watching the recording on the YouTube channel, I would encourage you to make sure that you're looking at the detailed show notes that come from the landing page on our website. So if you go to the POOLaide 2021 landing page, from there you can click on individual sessions, and each session, including today's, which I have pinned in the chat box, you can go and see the recording once it's available, the speaker bio, as well as PowerPoint slides, as well as cross links to other sessions and topics and resources that are shared in the chat box, as well as during the live session, as well as in the Q&A that follows each session. So do make sure that you're not only watching the recording on YouTube, but you're actually looking at the show notes, because there's a lot of great content in there. One of the items I just uploaded maybe an hour ago in conjunction with the March 5th webinar recording that I just uploaded is a really helpful guide from Whitewater regarding water slide maintenance. And I know that's the question I often see from different facilities is, how do I maintain my water slide? What are the basic safety checks that I should be doing? What are the annual maintenance checks that I should be doing? And I came across a really excellent 60-page PDF downloadable guide from the water slide manufacturer Whitewater, based in British Columbia. And I put a link to that in the show notes for the Friday, March 5th webinar when we talked with Ryan Jones from Hub Aquatics about water slides. So all of the resources that come up during a Q&A or a session are attached to the show notes. So thanks everybody who is joining us so far today. Our presenter will be starting in about 6 or 7 minutes. Please feel free to say hello in the chat box, put your location for our presenter to be able to see where you are located in Canada or the USA or anywhere else. I'm based near Calgary, Alberta. Our presenter today is based in Southern Ontario, kind of Kitchener-Waterloo area. So great to see the representation from you guys in the chat box as attendees. If you haven't, you can click on the link that is pinned in the chat box, which will take you to the show notes for today's session, which includes some of the PowerPoint slides that our presenter will be covering, as well as 2 links to a series of TikTok videos she'll be sharing throughout the presentation. She's kindly put them together in a long playlist to make it a little bit more manageable, so we're not transitioning from, one 15 or 30-second TikTok to another. Also, let us know in the chat box, are you on TikTok? Yes or no? As a person, as an aquatic facility, what are your thoughts on TikTok in general? I was saying a little bit earlier that Lakeview Aquatic Consultants, we are not on TikTok. We do have an account, but it's mostly to follow Darcy and the amazing content that she is creating about aquatic life as a swim instructor, as a lifeguard. A lot of her content is so on the nose. It makes my side hurt. It's perfect. But it's not something that I've taken much interest in. The shorter video clips, I get it. I understand why it's viral. I have seen some really good ones during the pandemic, but it's not something that directly appeals to me. I'm probably too old. So I'm curious to know your thoughts. Do you love TikTok? Do you hate TikTok? Do you grudgingly admit that it's part of your life and should be part of your social media, but you're not quite there yet? I'm sure a lot of you are here today to see how can I incorporate this into our facility plan. Or a big topic we'll probably get to in the Q&A is how is it being used to engage with young staff or potential staff, right? If TikTok is mostly geared towards younger people, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, that is where we go to get our staff and our leadership candidates, our lifeguard candidates, our swim instructor candidates. So how can we incorporate that aspect into what we are already doing or not for recruitment? So just having a look at the chat box, I see Colm is here from Minnesota. Jean is here from Massachusetts. Megan's here from Beaumont. Miranda's here from Kingston. Jennifer says she has a TikTok account, no idea what to do with it. That is exactly how I feel. I have a profile so I can watch things, but I don't really know where I would even start. Ben is here from Toronto, says that he loves the Y Squad, which is the link I've put in the chat box for Darcy's pool account. It's also linked on the show notes. So go ahead and have a look at some of the TikToks if you've got a few minutes before we get started. So much content to watch. Absolutely agree. I could probably spend 3 hours just on her profile watching each video. Julie is here from Tilsonburg. I see comments as well. Sorry, my scrolling. Christy's here from Okotoks, mostly just to watch. That's just fair. I see Zachary's here from Texas. Michelle is here from Washington, D.C. Kelly's here from Delta, BC. Jennifer's here from Emporia, Kansas. Emily's here from Rapid City. So good representation. Pop your name or your location in the chat box as you're entering into the room. Thanks to those of you who are joining us for the final POOLaide webinar of 2021. We're going to be starting in just a couple minutes, give people the opportunity to realize that it is 11 o'clock here in Alberta, 1 o'clock for many of you on the East Coast. It is Wednesday. In my head, I thought it was Friday because of the short week here in Canada. Friday is a statutory holiday. Many people I know, they're either celebrating Passover or Easter, or Ramadan is coming up in 2 weeks. So it's definitely a busy, busy week. And I appreciate those of you who are able to be here live. Live is always better for the Q&A at the end of the session, making sure we get your questions addressed, get those, what questions do you have about TikTok? Do you have a TikTok account for your aquatic facility? Do you have a personal TikTok account? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it taking over your preference when it comes to social media engagement? I know I was chatting with a friend from high school last week, and she said, Katie, you're never on Facebook anymore. And I said, well, Facebook for me is now outdated. I hardly use it. I mean, I use it when I need to, but I prefer to be on Instagram. And she was in a different place completely. She prefers to be on Facebook. So it's personal preference until something changes, right? And then we've also got Snapchat, and we've also got audio apps coming up. So lots of changes in social media. I see Allison is here from Pima County. Cynthia's here from Greenbelt, Maryland. Catherine's here from Cambridge, Wisconsin. Catherine, I put your envelope in the mail yesterday. Apologies for the delay there. Erin is here from Estevan. Thanks so much, Erin, for the shout out. Erin is on the conference committee for the virtual Saskatchewan and Manitoba Aquatic Conference. I know some of you attended that last year, so I'll give a quick shout out to that conference. It is coming up on May 11th and 12th. So if anybody is interested, it is open to all aquatic professionals across Canada and the US. I will be speaking on Wednesday, May 12th at 1 p.m. Mountain, which is 3 p.m. Eastern. This is an incredibly affordable conference I can recommend to everyone. 2 full days of sessions for $35 Canadian, which is basically like $23 US. 2 full days of sessions. From there, if you want to add on the swag pack or you want to add on Canadian Friends, your recertifications for your water safety instructors or your water safety instructor trainers, lots of great options. So definitely consider registering. I know we had a lot of Americans join us last year. It's a really, really great conference if you're looking for something on a budget, coming up in May, so about 6 weeks from now. We've got Vonda here from Tennessee. Trevin's here from Maryland. So let me go ahead and introduce our presenters so we can get started, respecting your time. We've got great attendance. Thank you so much for being here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Katie Crysdale. These are the 2021 POOLaide Webinars. In the chat box, you will see the link for today's presentation and show notes. And then I'm going to briefly introduce our speaker today. Really, really excited to have Darcy joining us. So let me just pull up my tab here. Darcy Bainbridge currently works as an aquatic specialist at the YMCA of Three Rivers in Southern Ontario and has worked in aquatics at a variety of nonprofit and publicly funded facilities over the last 10 years. She holds a degree in Child and Youth Studies from Brock University in Ontario and is currently studying advertising and marketing communications at Algonquin College in Ottawa. Darcy has taken an outside-of-the-box approach to promoting lifeguarding by posting videos on TikTok, where she's grown the YMCA's of Cambridge and Kitchener-Waterloo account to over 5,000 followers. And the account that she runs is called @Y_squad. It's linked in the chat box if you scroll up, or it's on the show notes for today. So let's give a big welcome, please, to Darcy. Very excited that she's joining us here. So without further ado, Darcy.
So I thank you, Katie, for having me today. I'm really excited to share with you all my experience the last year or so on TikTok. So I was just explaining how I got introduced to TikTok. Like I knew about TikTok, and to be honest, so I'm a millennial. I'm 28 years old. Before all this quarantine stuff started, I was kind of in the mindset like I will never use TikTok. That's for 13-year-olds, right? That's what the teenagers are using. It's not for me. That has changed, right? A lot has changed in the last year, but I was introduced mostly in a swim instructor class that I was teaching, I think January or February last year, so a little bit over a year ago. And pretty much, when you give the kids a break from class, what are they doing? They're always going on TikTok. So it kind of made me think that our swim instructor candidates are on TikTok. That's where the next group of lifeguards and swim instructors are going to be, looking at media these days, right? It's one of the most popular mediums that they're using. So I asked them to teach me. It was almost like kind of integrated into the course, right? They're learning about methods for teaching swim lessons, but really when you think about like, how do we teach people to teach? Like you're teaching them to teach, not just necessarily swim lessons. So they were using their strategies to teach me how to use TikTok and how to make videos. And then of course, when COVID happened and we're all stuck inside, I think that's kind of when TikTok really blew up with other demographics other than just teenagers. So yeah, let's get into the presentation. And then I think we'll have some time for questions at the end. So when I think of how TikTok can influence like our next generation of lifeguards, I think about how, media reflects culture and culture reflects media. So if you think back when Baywatch was cool, for example, I feel like aquatics had less problems with finding lifeguards because everyone's seeing lifeguards on TV. They think like that looks like a really cool job. People see the Olympics on TV, and when that happens, we know that more people come swimming. So the media that people are consuming really kind of affects their behavior as well. So wanting people to see lifeguarding and swim instructing on TikTok, on the media that they're consuming, to kind of, reinforce that, that's something that looks fun. Like I would like to do that, kind of just keep it top of mind for them. So that's our goal right now. I'm sure a lot of you are in the same boat where it's very difficult to find lifeguards and find swim instructors. These days, like people don't want to do that job as much as maybe they did in the past. It's not as exciting. So we're trying to make lifeguarding cool again and using TikTok to do that for us. So this is just kind of a brief overview of what we're going to cover today. So going over what TikTok is, who's on TikTok, some different types of content, how to build your following, what can influence a video to go viral, how to use TikTok in aquatics, a brief overview of how to actually make a video, some accounts that I follow that I think you should follow too, and then we'll have some time for questions. So here we go. So what is this TikTok thing? So a lot of you, maybe you're here. I hope no one's here because I hate TikTok and I'll never use it. You probably at least know about TikTok, but you might feel kind of like you're not the demographic that's on TikTok. Like you're too old, like I felt last year, right? I'm never going to go on TikTok. That's for high school kids, right? But it is. I think that a lot has changed in the past year, and pretty much everyone is on TikTok right now. Even there's grandparents on TikTok. There's lots of like grandpa accounts, and I don't know why people love them. Like it feels like you have your own grandparent on TikTok, but it's really for all ages now. And it's an interesting way that people can connect through different generations as well. So it used to be called Musical.ly, and I think around 2016 or 2017, they launched the TikTok app. It kind of started as, again, like an app for teens, a social media platform, lip syncing to songs, doing dances, things like that. And it's definitely evolved a lot since then. So over the past 5 or so years into, something that you can use for advertising or use to promote your brand, which is really cool. So if you're familiar, some of you might be more familiar with Vine. It's kind of similar, right? Like short video clips, so up to a minute long. You post them, people can like them, people can comment, things like that. So thinking about social media, it's different. It's definitely different than Facebook and Instagram, but I would classify it kind of like as a social media along with those, right? You don't have like friends and you don't have like a timeline, but you can comment and message and like interact with people on there too. So it is the most downloaded app on the App Store in 2019, I believe. And it's been downloaded over 2 billion times on the App Store and Google Play. So that's a huge number of downloads for an app. So TikTok, what their kind of main thing is that it is extremely specific to your life. So when you first go on TikTok, you'll probably start to get just like the most popular videos. So if you can you see my cursor here? I think I'm on pointer mode. There we go. So you should be able to see my cursor here. So you see at the top, there's the following and the for you. So those are kind of the two main sections of TikTok. So if I go to following, I only see content from accounts that I've chosen to follow. I would say most people spend their time on the for you page. So that is where those are the videos that TikTok thinks that you want to see. And they're very good at knowing what you want to see. So your For You page will look very different potentially from someone else's For You page. So these are some examples of things that show up on my For You page. So they have a very sophisticated algorithm. They know like, what are your hobbies? Like kind of just they're probably stealing a little bit of data from your phone if I'm being honest, but just kind of from your behavior, right? Did I like this video about swimming? So now they know like I want to see other swimming videos. Or there was a video about race cars and I watched 2 seconds of it and I swiped. They're keeping track of all that, behind the scenes. Like it's not a person, right? They're a very advanced algorithm. And then they feed you more content that they know that you will like based on your preferences. So you can see some examples here. These are just screenshots from my For You page. So there is one about swimming on the left, the middle one, me being the only one on the marketing team willing to embarrass myself on TikTok, very accurate. And then is anyone else's favorite hobby just wandering around Shoppers Drug Mart and Winners? Like they know me so well. They know that that's just what I like to do on the weekend is wander around Winners and see what they have in store. So super, super specific to the like things that you're interested in. That's where they really kind of have that edge. This is an example of my following page. So some accounts I'm following, which I'll talk about later. So we have a swim academy over here. I think this is also another kind of like an individual swim academy, and then My Swim Pro. So I know when I go to my following page, I'm going to see content from the people I've chosen to follow. So kind of depending what I'm looking for, I'll go on following versus For You. But definitely lots of interesting content, and kind of like different corners or different types of TikTok. I don't know how to explain that really, like not being on TikTok, but if you're on TikTok, you know, there's swim instructor TikTok. So let me skip to the next one. Yeah, this is an example of a comment that someone left saying, oh, this is extremely specific to my life. It's because the algorithm knows like, oh, you're a swim instructor and you hate getting your hair wet, so you'll really like this video. It's so good. It's creepy how good it is. So like I said, there's kind of different corners of TikTok. So this person was like, how did I get to swim instructor TikTok? Sometimes you end up on really weird corners of TikTok that you didn't expect to end up on. I've ended up on like prison TikTok, for example, where there's like people who are in jail making TikToks, and it's kind of like you just stumble upon these different areas, which is, I find it very interesting. And then again, yeah, oh, let me stay on instructor TikTok. So the more that you engage with the content, the more likely you are to see content like that. So sometimes people will say like, they'll comment on a video like, oh, commenting to stay on lifeguard TikTok or things like that, because they know engaging with that content means they'll see more of that type of content. So it's an interesting social media. It's kind of full of inside jokes and memes, and like you never know what you're going to see when you log into TikTok every day, basically. But it's an excellent way to like stay hip with the kids. That's how I feel when I'm on TikTok. I'm staying hip with the kids. So thinking about who is on TikTok is important before you kind of start making content on TikTok. So TikTok is excellent if you're trying to target younger people. So I was saying pretty much everyone is on TikTok right now. But I think about like 60% of the people on TikTok are between the ages of 10 and 29. So that's a pretty big chunk for such a small age range, right? So I know, for example, a lot of aquatic organizations right now are wanting to target maybe like stay-at-home moms or older people to become lifeguards, because they're looking for people who can lifeguard during the day or people who can lifeguard early in the morning. If that is what you're trying to do, then somewhere like Facebook would be a more appropriate place to like target that audience. If you're looking to target, you know, our next up and coming swim instructors and lifeguards, then TikTok is where you're going to find people of that age range, right? Like if you're trying to get them and you're advertising or posting on Facebook, you're really getting their parents, right? Because most teenagers these days are actually not super active on Facebook anymore. So TikTok is for mostly young people. And you also want to think about what segment of that target are you looking for? So are you looking for potential lifeguards and swim instructors? Are you trying to reach your own employees or your volunteers? So you can kind of post different things on TikTok to reach the different audiences. So we know that young people are on TikTok. Like I said, there's tons of different corners of TikTok that you can end up on. But TikTok is really cool in that they show you pretty detailed analytic information about who is watching your video. So that's really helpful kind of once you have content. You can actually see more specifically where are people watching and what time they're watching. Again, it's a little bit creepy, but it's good to know like as a creator. So right here, this is just an example of the analytics section of TikTok. So I like to take screenshots whenever I hit like a new milestone. So I think this one is from when I had a video go viral and I got like over 1 million views in 28 days. So it was over like a period of time. But yeah, you can see how many total views you've had in the last 28 days, the last 7 days, your followers. So again, this is when, like this is during a time period where I had a pretty popular video. Usually it's not like a straight line up like that. That's just because I had a lot of people coming to the profile. And then you can also see over here, like female and male, what percentage of your followers, and then where your followers are from. So as Katie said, I live in Canada. Generally, I find most people who watch my videos are from Canada. The United States is another big one. I think we have the UK here, Australia, and then Malaysia. So it can be pretty random sometimes where people are watching your videos from and where certain videos will suddenly be popular in places that you like wouldn't even imagine. So just not sure if that skipped for you. So another example of analytics, they will show you how many people have liked your videos, how many people have commented, and how many people have shared. So sharing is a good way to get your video seen by more people, obviously, but like the more that people share it, the more that it shows up on other people's For You page, and it kind of just spirals from there. So you can see lots of interesting information here, the total play time, total views, the average watch time. So we know that when people watch the video for longer, so if they watch it 3 times, like it will loop. If they watch it 3 times instead of just 1 time, that's good for engagement. More people will see your video, things like that. So again, you can see what percentage of people saw your video from the For You page. That's kind of on TikTok is like the goal is to get your video on the For You page. And again, it's not random, but it's by their algorithm. So again, the more people share your video, the more people who comment on it, if they watch it several times instead of just watching it once, those are things that push your video to more people's For You page. If people are just swiping by your video, then they're like, people aren't going to like this, and they won't show it to as many people. It's very difficult to try and figure out the algorithm. And sometimes things that you think will work don't work, and vice versa. So sometimes you can't do much, but really hope that it gets to the For You page. So for example, here shows me that 39% of people saw this video by going to my profile. Usually this isn't very high. This usually happens again when you have a video that has like a lot of views, then people will want to go look at your other videos. And that's what it means when it says personal profile, like they went to your profile from one video and they started watching your other videos. And then follow, that means people who follow you. So 6% on this video. So usually you want your For You to be like 99% and then follow 1%. Sometimes if your video doesn't get to the For You page, then this percentage of people who have seen it from following you will be higher. And sometimes that's an indicator, like maybe you can post the video again later and it will do better, like just delete that one and post it again later. Sometimes it even depends on, what time of day did you post the video, will impact how many people see it. So I don't think I have a screenshot of that portion, but I believe if you scroll down on the analytics on TikTok, then you can also see what time your followers are active. So it's another kind of graph, and it will show you how many of your followers are active each hour of the day. So again, it's a little bit creepy, but it's good to know. So if you know your audience is sleeping from the hours of 2 a.m. to 10 a.m., then maybe don't post at that time. You want to post when you know people are going to see it. The photo on the right, this traffic source types, this is kind of more of what you want to see with the big, large percentage of people from the For You page. I can't remember exactly what video this is from, but I remember taking this screenshot because I thought it was so interesting that the largest percentage of people that watched it were from like Algeria, Egypt, Iraq. I can't remember what video this is, but for some reason, it really went viral in that part of the world and not where I intended it to. But any engagement with your content is good engagement. So I'll take that for sure. There's lifeguards everywhere, right? So in addition to those specific analytics, you can also kind of see in your comment section, once you get going and once you have people commenting on your videos, people will share that information with you about, why are they watching your content. So we get a lot of people who are doing bronze courses. So if you're not from Canada, a bronze course is like a pre-lifeguarding course. So a course that you have to take before you become a lifeguard. So that would be, probably are 12 to 14, 15-year-olds who are interested in becoming lifeguards, and they're taking those first steps. So that's a great audience that we want to reach on TikTok to keep them interested in aquatics, right? They see, they're very impressionable at that age, right? And they see these videos and they think like, one, like lifeguarding's cool. In the interest of our organization, they think I can become a lifeguard at the YMCA. So a little bit of competition, of course, you know, within like municipalities. Are people going to go work for the Y? Are they going to work for the city? Or are they going to work for this place? So I like that people who are trying to become lifeguards, they know I can do that at the Y. That's good for us, whether or not it's good for you guys watching. This is an example of a comment. So someone who teaches swimming lessons. So people love to comment on relatable content, right? So sometimes, less often, but sometimes specifically in the video or in the caption, I'll ask like, oh, like, let me know your favorite way to teach front crawl or something like that in the comments. But it's more organic. It's better when people just organically comment on your videos because they want to be kind of involved in your community. So this is an example of someone who teaches swimming lessons, and she was just sharing a tip about, I think this is about teaching front crawl, but to be honest, I'm not sure. This is another audience, kind of an unexpected and unintended audience that I find we have on our videos, which is just like the public, people who have taken swimming lessons, which that's an even bigger pool of people than lifeguards and swim instructors and people who want to become lifeguards. So members of the public who either like really appreciate lifeguards, or they hate all the rules that lifeguards have, or people who failed swimming lessons and they somehow ended up on swim instructor TikTok and they just like to kind of engage with the content in that way. I would say a lot of my most popular like the ones that get the most views are ones that can be related to not only by lifeguards and swim instructors, but the public, like the people who come to open swim and don't pass a swim test and stuff like that. So it's very interesting seeing all the kinds of different people. This person, they want to become a swim instructor. They're looking forward to taking their classes once Corona is over. So again, kind of keeping those next generation of lifeguards and swim instructors just engaged with your brand, with your content. And yeah, when that person wants to take a swim instructor class, I bet one of their first thoughts is like, I could go to Y and do that. I saw them on TikTok. Like, I want to go there. They make lifeguarding look cool. I mean, I hope that's what they're saying. I can't say for sure. This is another super common group of people that we get on our videos. So people who are like, I'm taking my lifeguard test. Do you have any tips? I'm super scared. What do I do? Like, what should I expect? Things like that. So just being able to kind of provide that advice and guidance is super cool, and also kind of getting our little community involved. So sometimes I'll post videos like answering a comment like this, and I'll give my advice, and then I'll say, everyone else, like, let them know your tips in the comments, and it kind of builds a little bit of community in that way as well. And then again, the people who come swimming and they're not lifeguards, they're not swim instructors, but they just want to talk about how much they like or don't like the swim test. So this video, I think we'll see this one later if you haven't already, is about passing the swim test or going in the deep end or something. So this person's like, I know for a fact I'm not going to try the swim test. Like, thank you for letting me know. Like I said, any engagement is good engagement. So I love whenever anyone comments on any of our videos with literally anything. I'll show you some more fun ones later. So kind of knowing that all these different audiences exist on your page and they're viewing your content, I think is really important to know when you're creating the content. So you know who's watching and what do they want to see. So I know that people are looking for tips on how to become a lifeguard. People are looking for drills, like new fun ideas to teach swim lessons, things like that. And that helps like guide what I am going to post. So I don't just post random things that I came up with, like I do, but I know that people want certain content and I try and provide the content that they're looking for. So providing them value, and that's how you're going to keep people following your account. If they're like, this is valuable content or relatable content, then they're going to continue following you, or they're going to start following you. And that's kind of another one of your goals as a creator. So once you know who your audience is, I would assume, again, for most of us, it's probably going to be our future lifeguards, our future swim instructors, or future staff or current staff, kind of that kind of audience. You are ready to start creating some content. So I have a video of a few different types of content that we're going to play. So there's different trends that you want to kind of keep on top of. I call it doing like research. So you can get stuck in a little bit. I think some of you were saying this in the chat, you kind of get stuck in a TikTok rabbit hole. So since the algorithm knows you so well, you can just keep scrolling. You know, if you're on Facebook or Instagram, I don't know about you guys, I kind of get bored of it after a little while. I'm like, you can only show me photos of someone's lunch so many times before I'm exiting out of that app. But with TikTok, like they know, they're like feeding you exactly what you want to see, and you could spend hours on TikTok. So let's watch some of these different trends, and we'll start with trends, but really they're all trends. So when I say trends, it's kind of a little bit vague. So let's watch the video, and then I'll go over what I mean by a trend. So I'll pause in between each one. Hopefully you can hear the sound. So that's pretty basic. Could you guys hear that okay? I'll guess yes. If no one's saying like I couldn't hear it, then we'll say yes. So that is an example of a trend. It's literally extremely straightforward. So the trend is that you put that clown face filter on, and that song plays in the background, and it's basically just your text or your caption would be about something that makes you sound or look like a clown. So I'm sure you guys know that Band-Aids at the bottom of the pool can look like poop on the bottom of the pool. And I can't be the only one who has cleared the pool thinking that there was poop, and then it turned out to just be a Band-Aid. So I think the caption said like, when you kick 200 people out of the pool and it turns out to just be a Band-Aid. So obviously I felt like a clown doing that. But I didn't come up with that idea. It's an idea that it's a trend, right? That other people have been doing. So someone, you know, put the clown filter on. There was obviously someone who originally did it. They put the clown filter on. They post about something that made them look like a clown. And then other people kind of copy the trend. So there's kind of like a fine line on TikTok about copying people and like stealing their content versus participating in a trend. So for example, if one of you saw that video and then you went and you made the exact same video where you put the clown filter on, and you say like, I saw a Band-Aid on the bottom of the pool and I thought it was poop, so I cleared the pool. Like, you just stole my idea. That's not cool on TikTok, but it's okay to do the same idea. So the same filter with the same sound, and then, you know, something that makes you a clown, as long as it's something different. So you don't want to steal people's content, but it's okay to follow trends. And kind of do the same idea, but your own, always put your own twist on it so that you're not just completely copying someone else. So our second type of content coming up here is lip syncing.
Her arms were cut off. Her legs were cut off. Her ears were cut off. Her tongue was cut off. Her nose was cut off. Her eyeballs were plucked out. Her eyebrows were then waxed.
So I think lip syncing is actually probably like one of my most favorite types of videos on TikTok. So I promise that I'm much better at it than that video shows, because whenever you like download a video from TikTok, it ruins the syncing of the sound and the movement. So definitely go watch them on our page, because I think it's a lot more funny when it actually looks like I'm saying those things. But so that one was just this random sound. To be honest, I don't even know what that is. The sound is from. Like, her arms are cut off, her legs are cut off. I have no idea what the original source of that sound is. I just thought it was funny. basically when I'm scrolling through TikTok and I hear a sound that is trending, so, you know, like every third video on my For You page is using that sound, I'm thinking like, how can I make that about aquatics? So again, I guess it's pretty applicable, but I mentioned bronze a lot because those are our pre lifeguarding courses in Canada. But you know, when you're teaching a lifeguard course or a pre-lifeguard course, and you know, you've done, you know, you fell off of a boat like 100 times, and you have to start thinking of like, what is the craziest thing that could happen just to kind of get them more practice. So that's what that video was about. And that one was pretty popular. That one was interesting. So sometimes videos originally, like when you post it, they don't get that many views. And I know I was saying earlier, like, oh, if it doesn't hit the For You page, like you can just delete it and post it again and hope that it does. That one, it didn't get a lot of views originally, which I'm like so bummed because I thought it was hilarious. And it was probably like a couple weeks later, someone must have shared the video in a group or with their coworkers or something. And then suddenly it was getting like tons and tons of views. So you never know when something like that is going to happen and your content is just going to kind of like blow up. So I would say if you think it's good, don't delete it. But if you do delete it, you can repost it, but don't just permanently delete it and say like, oh, it must not have been good. Like you never know when it's going to get popular weeks later. Let's see what our next type of video is here. So original content, of course, it can be anything that you really want it to be. So not following trends, kind of just doing your own thing. That song was a song that was trending at the time, and it's always good to kind of put a sound or a song that's trending with your content because that's just going to make it even more likely because maybe your audience really likes this sound and they keep getting videos that have that song on it. So your video might pop up for that reason, even if like for no other reason. So that's kind of, you have the flexibility to make whatever kind of video you want there. Challenges. Right. This is a good one.
Splash. Now that you know how my eyes be, I'm rocking shit.
So that one, like I was saying earlier with the trends, a lot of things are also trends, right? So this was a trend. So that sound was popular and people were doing different challenges with it. So it was like, do this during the pause. So a lot of them were like, can you chug a glass of water during the pause or something like that? So I took the sound and I was like, how can we make this into a lifeguard challenge? So the challenge was, can you put your gloves on to your hands that are wet during the pause? It turned out like it was very hard. I don't know that anyone really ever successfully did the challenge other than like one of my coworkers. At the time I was like, oh, people are definitely gonna do this challenge and post about it. But sometimes things just don't go the way that you plan. But if anyone wants to, it's not too late. Feel free to do that challenge. That could be your first TikTok, actually. That could be your entry into the TikTok world. You can do the lifeguard glove challenge. And yeah, that would be fun, engaging content. So the idea was we wanted our staff to participate in it, but I think that was probably a few days before our pools closed for months on end because of COVID. So it didn't really pop off at the time, but you never know, like I said, when the trends are going to come back. So we could bring that back. That might be your action after this webinar. Okay, let's see what's up next. Dancing. So that one's pretty basic. I would say a lot of teenagers I was saying like my side of TikTok, I see like lifeguarding videos, I see swimming videos, videos about going to winners. I think for a lot of teenagers, this is all that they see on TikTok. They just watch dancing videos. Sometimes I like to put content with dancing because generally like dancing on a lifeguard account, it's not super popular. But if you put information with the dancing, so if you do the dance, like a dance that I would recommend, a dance that's like trending and popular, and then you put like on the screen, it depends on like what topic you're doing. So one time I did one about heart attack symptoms. So I was doing a dance and I noticed like the dance moves kind of matched with heart attack symptoms. So I kind of incorporated it all together. So it was valuable content because watching me dance, there's no value in that. As you just saw, I was the one on the left. Another interesting thing about that video, our coworker was watching us make it from like a viewing gallery. So she couldn't hear, she could just see what we were doing. And then when we caught up with her later, she was like, so could you guys like not hear the music or something? Like just because we were so off time, like we could hear the music. We're lifeguards, we're not good dancers. So that's what happened. But yeah, a lot of teenagers, this is kind of the only thing that they see on their For You page is just dancing. And that's all they use TikTok for. So it's good to keep up with the trends. Like I said, that was a popular move at the time.
It's all good. Yours is missing. Can we get that for you?
That is one of my favorite videos, actually. And that's one of the ones where I was like, this is definitely going viral. And it didn't at first, like it got like a decent amount of views, but duetting someone else's video. So the person on the left, like I don't know him. He just posted that video on the internet, like on TikTok, and I did a duet. So that means that our videos are side by side. And I tried to make it so it looked like the ball was coming into my frame and hitting me in the face. Like, that happens at the pool, right? Kids are throwing toys around and the lifeguard ends up getting hit in the face with a ball or something. So I thought it was hilarious. Like I said, it wasn't popular right away. It eventually kind of picked up as it happens. But yeah, so kind of working with another creator, whether they are like collaborating with you or you're just like duetting a random video and kind of adding something to it, right? So sometimes people just duet videos. All it is like a reaction video. So that could be cool. I've thought about doing that. Sometimes people will post videos of, them like jumping off roofs into a pool. And sometimes I want to like duet it and kind of react like as a lifeguard. I haven't done that yet, but that's another way that you could use a duet. Or sometimes people will post like a one-sided conversation and then someone will duet it and kind of fill in the other half. So that's a little bit kind of what happened there, right? Like he never intended that other people were going to duet it like that. But it kind of seemed like we were a little bit like in the same place. That's a good way to collaborate with other creators too, if anyone's interested after this.
Tell me you're a lifeguard without actually telling me you're a lifeguard.
One time I told a 5-year-old kid, "Walk, please," while in a grocery store. And also I was notorious at work for telling people to shower.
So that is, I don't know, that's probably happened to you guys too. So I don't know that girl. She stitched my video. So what a stitch means is that you can take a few seconds of someone else's video at the beginning of your video, and then you film the rest of the video. So the first part, that was my video. I was saying like, tell me, that was a trend too, right? I feel like that's still a trend. Like, tell me you're a lifeguard without telling me you're a lifeguard. So specifically about lifeguarding, it wasn't a trend, but people are like, tell me you go to college without telling me you go to college, or like things like that. So I was just like showing all these whistles that I had, but she had a pretty funny response too. Like, I think we've probably all done that. You see someone running at the grocery store and you just got off work and you're like, walk. But yeah, so totally relatable. And she was just able to kind of stitch those together.
When I popped off, then you go gave me just a little bit of love.
I'm not even sure why I chose that exact video for transitions. That was one of my earlier videos, but transitions are really popular on TikTok. And what that means is, like, if you saw the video, I was in my house and then I did a little jump and suddenly I was in the pool. So it kind of seems like you're switching from one thing to another, or people will film like a video and then they turn their head and then they film it again, like turning this way, but in a different spot, or things like that. So it's kind of like a little bit trippy. It's just like visually interesting, just fun ways to like edit a video together. And TikTok makes it super easy to do that and make it nice and clean. Like, I don't know, I thought it looked pretty realistic that I was jumping into the pool, even though I wasn't actually at the pool. That was a green screen filter, which I'll show you guys later too. So lots of fun things you can do with transitions for sure.
That's nasty. I'm gonna go throw up.
So I think that's the last one. I think so, yeah. So that's an example, that's an example of a video reply. So when people comment on your video, you can just reply like as a sub comment, or you have an option to create a video to reply. So it depends on what it is, if I'll make a video or if I'll just comment. If I think that it's something that like a lot of people are wondering about, so when people are like, oh, I'm taking my lifeguard test, do you have any tips? That's something that sometimes I'll post a video reply about, because I know like a lot of people want to know that. But if it's something like more minor, then usually I'll just reply in the comments, or like if I don't have time to make a video reply. So those are just some examples of different kinds of content. There's definitely more. And there's like trends are always changing. So like I said, it's really important to keep on top of what's trending on TikTok, what's popular, what is your audience watching, and to kind of use those to build your content. So we'll move on to how to build your following. So you've kind of maybe started to post some content. People are probably not going to follow you if you don't have content, like unless they know you or they know your organization. People will follow when they think that you're going to be giving them something of value. So if you were to go to my profile on TikTok, you can see that we have like 250,000 likes. And that means that 250,000, well, not people, there's been 250,000 likes total on all of our videos combined. And we only have like 5,000 followers. So that means there's a lot more people that are liking the videos and not following. But that's just because like our audience is pretty small. And when I say that we have 5,000 followers on TikTok, if you're not on TikTok, that might seem like a lot, but it's actually pretty small for TikTok. So TikTok, I think, is the easiest social media to build like a massive following. If I had 5,000 followers on Instagram, I would be like shook. That would be a lot of followers on Instagram. 5,000 followers on TikTok is more like maybe 1,000 followers on Instagram, like if you're comparing apples to apples. But like I said, it's a pretty small audience. So I still feel pretty proud of the audience that we've built on TikTok. So some ways that you can build your following on TikTok. You want to pick a niche. I think that we all have our niche, right? And only post content that's related to that niche. So even if you are like a YMCA or a community organization, if we were to make a TikTok account that was just like the whole YMCA of Cambridge and Kitchener-Waterloo, and we posted about all of the services that we offered. So we posted about aquatics and employment services and children's programs. If we posted all of that on one account, you would actually have probably a smaller following, because people are only going to follow if they find that your content is valuable to them. And if I find like only 1 of 5 videos that you're posting is actually valuable to me, then I might not follow you. So I would recommend, even if you're like a YMCA or you're a community center, don't make just one account for your organization and post videos for everything. Like make an aquatics specific account, and then you're going to get people who are interested in aquatics, and people from your community and people from different communities. If it's just your organization, you're probably only going to find people who are interested, like people in your community who want to go to your organization. So there's definitely pros and cons. I guess that might be a good thing if that's what you're looking to do. But if you're trying to grow like a larger audience, I would recommend going with like just aquatics content. So like lifeguard content, swim instructor content, stuff like that, and really keep it narrow if you want to get your followers up. So we talked about knowing your audience, knowing what kind of content they want, posting things that they will enjoy and things that they'll find value in, right? So tips for teaching swimming lessons. I post mostly like, I find just like highly relatable, like comedy content, I think. Like, I don't know, I think I'm pretty funny. I would call it comedy content. Whereas some aquatic TikTok creators purely post like just tips for learning to swim, which is also valuable content. It just depends like what your audience is looking for. And you want to kind of keep it in one bucket, right? So I'll show you some creators at the end of the presentation who post primarily just swim tips, and they don't post like lip sync videos or that kind of thing. So it's a different audience that is watching those kinds of videos. Engaging with your audience is another way to build your following. So people see like a creator with thousands of followers and they think like, that's not a real person. So if you actually engage with the people, so when people are commenting on your video, like replying to them, it takes 2 seconds to reply to people's comments or to like their comments, or to engage with their content if it's appropriate, if they're another creator kind of in your field. Like engaging with that kind of content is going to help to build your following. People feel valued when you answer their question on your post, right? So sometimes if a video gets really popular, it's hard to keep up with all the comments, but I try and respond to as many as I can when I can tell they're actually like genuinely commenting and they want to interact with the content and like engage with me. And sometimes that gets you the followers. So they weren't following, but then when I answer their comment, they're like, oh, like I didn't think that you'd actually answer. And then they start following. So that's a good way to get followers, definitely. Posting regularly. This is something I haven't been great with. The past couple of months, I've been pretty busy with school, but posting regularly is super important. So that doesn't mean you have to post every day. I would say don't post more than once a day unless you have a huge database of content. Sometimes I film a bunch of videos in one day and I just save them as drafts. So when I'm having when I have a day where I have lots of spare time and the lighting's good, I'll film a bunch of videos and I just post like one a day. If I find that my videos are not getting a lot of views, sometimes I'll take a couple of days off before I post something else because the algorithm can be strange sometimes. And if it's not working in your favor, then sometimes I just find like, oh, I'll give it a couple of days and then I post again and they start pushing my content out more than they were. Creating content worth sharing and relatable content. So when you have people who want to send your videos to their coworkers or their boss, I saw someone on Facebook who was like, oh, like I get a video of yours sent to me every day by my staff. I love that. So creating content that people want to share. When a lifeguard or swim instructor or a future lifeguard and swim instructor watch it, they say, like, that's so true. So they want to send it to their friend and be like, isn't this so true? It seems so basic, but that's how, like, when you get those shares, your video gets pushed out more, and that's what you want. And also interacting with other creators within your niche and content relevant to your target. So the other creators that I'll show you later, I always like their videos. I try to comment on their videos, and that will, like, it's good to kind of engage with your co-creators, but also people who see their videos might want to look at my content, or people who see my content might want to look at their content. So it's good to like comment on them. So if they post a video with swim tips, I'll comment and say like, oh, that's such a great swim tip. And like, maybe I'll give one. And then when people look at the comments, they see like, oh, that's another aquatic creator, and they'll come check out my profile. And more vaguely, engaging with content that's relevant to your target. So I also follow, Katie mentioned we're in Kitchener-Waterloo. So whenever I find Kitchener-Waterloo accounts like the library, any other like community service, I always follow them and I always engage with their content too, because I know that the algorithm works that way, right? Like they know that we're connected and that we're both in Waterloo, and they're going to show our content to more people who are in Waterloo and things like that, so that you get more engagement with your target. So the big money question that I know everybody wants to know is how to make a video go viral. So the straight answer is there's no way to know when or how a video will go viral. There's definitely some things that can contribute to a video going viral, which we'll talk about. But it's impossible if you say like, I want to make a viral video today. That's not how it works. There's so many factors that go into like why and when and how a video goes viral that are impossible to predict. The amount of times that I made a video and I was like, this is the one that's going to go viral. Like, this is the one that's going to get, you know, hundreds and thousands of views. And it's never the one that I think it's going to be. It's always something that I thought was like super random, or I didn't even put that much effort into it. And that's the one that ends up getting tons of views. So I would say people's definition of viral is different. Some people are like, oh, over 1 million views. I think like anything that gets like 25,000 views, I think that's a win for me. But I have had a few that got, I think the highest one was 800 and something thousand views. I'm almost at 1 million on that one. So let's watch a couple of those viral-ish videos, and I'll let you know why I think these videos went viral. So again, like I said, there's different factors that may contribute to it, but it's never something that you can really predict. Okay, so I think we're starting with controversial content. So something that people, I actually don't know if that's the first video, so let's play first. Okay, relatable and debatable content.
Hey, dude, no, you gotta go like, oh, okay. Wait.
So that was one of my first videos that got like a lot of views. I think that one had, I think it has like over 500,000 views, which like to me is a lot. Like to some people, like those huge creators, they're like, oh, like what is 500,000 views? But for me, that's a lot. And I think it's one of the most popular videos. So why do I think that video went viral is because I was using a sound that was extremely popular at the time. So everyone was making videos with that sound, just like with totally different like genres, like different ideas. And also because people could relate to it. So swim instructors could relate to it, because I'm sure we've all been in that situation where you're trying to teach front crawl and they're just slapping the water instead of doing their like nice, smooth front crawl stroke. The people who experienced that as participants could also relate to it. I had a lot of comments on that video that were like, this video taught me more. I think that might be what the comment on the screen says. This video taught me more in, 15 seconds than 6 years of swim lessons or something like that. And then it was also debatable. So those first two things, it's relatable and it's also debatable because it got to like Australia and New Zealand, and they were like, why is she calling it front crawl? Like, doesn't she mean freestyle? Which I know that's like, that can be a debate in Canada too. Which for the record, my stance is freestyle is a race, front crawl is a stroke. So I was teaching front crawl in that video. But in Australia, I guess they only refer to front crawl as freestyle. So there was a whole like debate in the comments. People were like, why is she calling it that? And then some other people were like, it's a lifeguard stroke. And it was just going back and forth. So all that engagement caused the video to be, I assume, pushed out to more people. And it ended up getting tons of views. That's actually one video that I think 2 people completely stole the idea, which I thought was cool. So I was saying earlier, like, it's not cool to copy people's idea, like word for word and do the exact same thing. Like, that's not cool. Like, yeah, use that sound, but put your own twist on it and do your own thing. 2 people made the exact same video. So even with those little like the splash emoji that was coming up, they made the exact same video. And I would be upset if they had got more views than me. But at the time, I just thought like, well, like I'm cool enough that people are copying me. So I wasn't offended by it. I thought it was cool. I think I commented on the videos. Yeah, I thought it was funny, but that's generally not accepted on TikTok to like completely steal someone's idea. But it was like a milestone for me. Oh, that's a picture of the comment section if you are passionate about. So that one was pretty popular. I posted that one just before the summer last year. So I think the timing had something to do with it too, because it was like on everyone's mind about going to the pool during summer and passing the swim test and stuff. So it was a little bit controversial, as you know. If you have a swim test at your facility, there's always people coming in who are like trying to bend the rules and they want to swim, but they're not able to meet the ratios or things like that. So it's a little bit controversial because, I mean, controversial in terms of like the swimming pool, how much controversy can you get into? But you have the lifeguards who are saying like, oh my gosh, that's so true. Yeah, I hate when people come in and do that. And then you also have the people who come in and do that. This video ends up on their For You page. So they're commenting like, oh, like I hate the swim test. It's so stupid. I shouldn't have to do that. Like, why can't I just wear a life jacket? Stuff like that. So again, things that like get people engaged with your content are more likely to end up on more people's For You page and more views, etc. So again, you can't really predict like if it's going to be controversial or not, but I do know that when I post things like about the swim test, that it always happens that I get people from both sides. So I think the next one is also about the swim test. I wouldn't want to be anybody else. So I hope you guys are kind of getting the, if you weren't kind of familiar with a TikTok video. So I was like lip syncing to a song and the lyrics are kind of like the punchline to the joke. So if you missed it on the screen, it said like, oh, you must be the lifeguard who told my child they had to stay in the shallow end if they didn't pass the swim test. And then I like lip sync, oh, I wouldn't want to be anyone else or whatever it says. So when you can find a song lyric that could be like the punchline to your joke, that's like a perfect time to use the lip sync as well. So same thing with the other one. There's the lifeguards agreeing, the parents disagreeing, and it's civil. It stays civil, but that's how you get the people engaged.
Splash. Now that you know how my eyes be, I'm rocking shit.
So obviously we saw the very similar video to that, which I was telling you when I posted the first one, I was like, it didn't get as many views as I thought it would. Like it wasn't as popular as I thought. But some people, it was all right. And some people commented on it. A bunch of people were saying like, you have to put the gloves in the water first and then you can do it even faster. So it's like, okay, like I'll reply. So I did a video reply to that comment saying like, put the gloves in the water first and it's way faster. And then I think the caption on the video was, oh, like, this is a great idea. Just make sure you don't dump the water on your victim, because I always see people doing that, like in their bronze courses or their NL, they use that trick where they're like, oh, I'm going to put the glove in the water to get it on. And then they like do the thing where they dump the water out, but it's right on top of the person that they're trying to save. Like they dump it on their face. So I put that in the caption. I was like, yeah, just make sure you don't dump the water on your victim. And people thought that I was giving murder tips because I used the word victim, which I think is, I mean, where I'm from, like Southern Ontario, that's the word that we use, like in lifeguarding. We call it a victim. I know some other people call it like a casualty or a guest in distress or things like that. We call it a victim. So for me, it was just normal to write that. But a lot of people saw it and they're like, you did say victim, like, what did you want us to think? So that's actually my most viewed video. That's the one that has like 800 and something thousand views, just because people thought I was giving murder tips. It's super strange, but again, things will go viral for the things that you're like least expecting it to. So some other things on this slide. So a high quality production, I don't mean that you have to use like a fancy camera. I film everything on my phone, but having like good lighting, like don't film your video in the dark where people can't see you. I like to just film in front of a window. So you don't want the sun like directly in your face and you like can't see, but just natural light coming in from a window, like standing a few meters away. Or you can use like a ring light. Those are really popular. You can like buy them on Amazon, and it just helps your video look more professional, which it's more, people are more likely to watch it if it looks better, right? Using trending sounds and hashtags, which we talked about using sounds. Hashtags, sometimes there'll be like challenges or specific hashtags that people are using a lot. And sometimes I'll use those even if it's not relevant to my video, because I just know that it will get on those pages as well if I'm using the hashtag. Or like I said, I'll put on a trending sound if I'm doing a video where I'm just talking. Like just put on a trending sound in the background and turn the volume down. And now people who are seeing that sound are more likely to see your video too. So like I've said, the more engagement, people sharing your content, people commenting on your content, people watching it more than once, that will get you more views. So it's going to push it out to more people if TikTok thinks other people are enjoying it, right? So something that you can do is like you don't want to put too much text or put the text moving too quickly, because then people won't watch it. But if people have to like pause your video to read the text, or they have to watch it 3 times because there was so much going on, and they want to read all the different pieces, that can be good for your content because the view time is higher. So if I have to watch a 10-second video 3 times to be able to read everything in it, then I got 30 seconds on a 10-second video, which TikTok thinks is good. And again, it's going to push it out to more people if you do that. So some different ways that you can use TikTok in aquatics. So some of these are ways that we use it. Some of them are ways that I've seen other brands, not necessarily in aquatics, but other accounts using TikTok. So training is an interesting way that I've seen people use TikTok, and these videos kind of just randomly will show up on people's For You pages. So I haven't seen this in aquatics, but I think it was like a McDonald's account. So they originally had made like a private TikTok account, and they were posting training videos like how to make a McFlurry or whatever, right? And they told their staff like, oh, sign up for TikTok, follow this account and watch these training videos. But of course, there are people who don't have TikTok or who won't get TikTok, right? Which is understandable. You can't force all your staff to download TikTok to do their orientation. So they ended up making the account public so that their employees who didn't have TikTok could see it. And then these videos of like how to make a McFlurry were just showing up on random people's For You pages, and they're commenting and sharing and engaging. And now suddenly like how to make a McFlurry has 6 million views on TikTok. So definitely an interesting way to use TikTok, like make a video about how to do the lane ropes, right? And post it on TikTok and share it with your staff. It's just a fun way to, you have to teach them how to do that anyway. So you might as well make it fun and in a format they're going to enjoy watching. Challenges, we talked about challenges. For example, my glove challenge, that again, I would love to see you guys try that one on your TikToks if you are starting up your page. But yeah, lots of different ways that you can do challenges, dance challenges. You do a CPR challenge, just coming up with a creative way to get people engaging with your content. And then also if they're duetting your content or stitching your content to do the challenge, that's also good for your engagement. Public education is another big one. So I'll show you again in my accounts later, like accounts to follow. I've recently found the Red Cross on TikTok. I don't know how I never knew that they were on TikTok before, but they post like first aid videos, they posted this really popular one this year, the Red Cross Canada, about skating, like ice safety. And they wrote like a song that was like only, I'm not going to sing it for you because that's not going to go well, but they made up like a little jingle about ice safety, and it was so catchy. It has like millions of views. It's just a way to educate the public about ice safety, right? So something that people generally are like, oh, that's boring. Like, I know how to be safe on the ice. Like 6 million people watched it. So I would say, yeah, it was super successful public education campaign. We haven't had the chance to do the next one. So I was saying we started our TikTok last year, probably in like January or February. And then in March, we had to close for a few months. And we've kind of been open and closed since then, like with everything going on with COVID. So we haven't actually really had courses to promote. Like we have had courses, kind of where we're at right now, though we don't need to promote them. I'm sure a lot of you are in the same boat. There's so many people wanting to take courses right now because of all the closures that we have already a list of people to sign up. So we haven't had to do that yet, but I do look forward to promoting courses and like hiring. We haven't hired since last year, so I haven't been able to use TikTok for hiring, but I do look forward to being able to use it to do that. So you can pay TikTok to post advertisements. So you could use TikTok in that way. They can kind of target, I think they can only target provinces and states. I don't think that you can target a specific city. So like, for example, if we wanted only people in Kitchener-Waterloo to see our ad about that we're hiring, I don't think that TikTok has that functionality right now. But I pretty much feel like every TikTok that I post is an advertisement for the YMCA. So one time someone commented that on one of my videos, I had like a Y logo on it, and they were like, oh, I thought this was an ad for the Y, which like it is. Like every video that I post, I'm always wearing like a Y sweater or a Y shirt, or I have the big Y in the background, because it's free advertising basically, right? So you could pay TikTok to push it to specific people, or you can kind of do everything that I just said and reach your audience organically. It's definitely more work, but it still works, right? And it's free, just making TikToks. And I think it's fun, personally. So some other ideas, how to become a lifeguard. You can only do that one so many times, right? But giving people information on how to become a lifeguard, or tips on how to pass their lifeguard certification, things like that. I also use TikTok in my courses now. So when I'm teaching like a bronze course or a lifeguard course, I will put my videos as like a QR code. So I take the link, you can get a link for any TikTok, I turn it into a QR code, and then I put it in like the learning resources. So I have, for example, a little booklet that I give out to my lifeguard candidates. And whenever there's something like relevant that I think has a funny TikTok that kind of goes with it, I'll just put in the QR code, and then they can watch it. And it's something, like I said, they're already going on TikTok on their break anyway. So I would prefer that they're learning things about lifeguarding and teaching swimming lessons while they're doing that, instead of just, watching people dance for 15 minutes, right? I've also used it in courses as an option for the participants to do like a creative assignment. So it's super boring if all you're doing is having your participants like write their answers or do like role play. So I like to give them an option to do like a creative assignment sometimes. So to demonstrate that you've learned this concept, and then give them an option of different creative assignments. So making like a poster, or a commercial, like a fake commercial, or film a TikTok that demonstrates that you understand this concept. So if that's something that they're interested in, I found that it's been pretty popular. It gets them engaged with the content. Like, that they understand the concept that you're trying to teach, because they're demonstrating it in a way that is valuable to them and like something that they actually enjoy, instead of just telling you like, yes, I know that we should rotate like this because XYZ. Like, it's in a way that they are enjoying. And I think that really helps with their learning. Promotion of your brand, I kind of already talked about that a little bit. So every TikTok is an advertisement for your brand. You can pay for advertising. We've never done that on TikTok. I don't think it's something that we would do unless we could target specifically our city. And TikTok's, their advertising policy is basically, it should be a TikTok first and an advertisement second. If people know that it's an advertisement right away, they're just going to swipe. They're just going to go to the next video. But if it kind of blends in with the other videos and they just think like, oh, it's just another TikTok, then they're more likely to watch it. So don't make it obvious that you're advertising if you're going to go that route. And then staff engagement, we actually haven't had a lot of like, I find our staff right now are more like university age and they're not as interested in TikTok. But we do have a number of staff who like follow the account. They like share the videos around. I've had a few staff who have kind of like made their own videos. But there's definitely lots of opportunity to get your staff team engaged, especially if you have a younger staff team. And it's something that they're interested in, right? If you're at this point in this presentation and you're like, this is too much for me, I'm never going to understand TikTok, then get your staff involved and have them help you with this so that you're not just trying to appeal to teenagers and you have no idea what you're doing. Get them involved. And it's a good opportunity if you have someone on your team who has that skill and they have that drive to kind of be involved, like give them that opportunity and kind of work together on it instead of just trying to do it yourself, especially if you're older. Like you can definitely use the help of your younger staff to help you drive that. So in terms of creating an actual video, I would recommend, again, if you have someone on your staff team who is on TikTok and who knows how to make a video, have them show you in person. I'm just going to go through kind of some of the basics, but it's more useful, as you know, teaching swimming lessons, if you actually have someone demonstrate how to do it kind of in real time. So I'm just going to show you some of the features that TikTok has and how to maybe get started on making your first video. But you definitely benefit from having kind of like a 16-year-old show you. That's what I had to do. And that was the most helpful thing that I could ever do. YouTube also has a lot of good resources as well. So I think you can see my pointer here. This is what my homepage looks like when I go to my profile. So at the bottom here where this black plus sign is, that's where you would go to make a video. So if you press that, it will take you to just like the video recorder. You can record in TikTok or you can upload your own video. Usually I record in TikTok, but it kind of depends what kind of video I'm doing. You can also upload your own. So when I made the video earlier showing off when we reopened, kind of just like showing people cleaning and stuff, I recorded that outside of TikTok and just uploaded it into it. Like you can do that as well. If you're going to use a sound from TikTok, I would recommend recording in the app. It makes it a lot easier. Another way that you can start your recording, so this middle screen here, me with the clown face, you can click the sound. So if you're like, yeah, I want to make a video that is this trend, you can click the sound. So there's a little music note and this song title and this little circle here. You can click that. It will take you to the sound page where you can see all the other popular videos that were made using this sound. So like I'm not the first one to do this, obviously, there's a lot of them. And then you can press use this sound. If you do it in that way, it usually puts on the filter too. So if there's a trend that's like a sound and a filter, you can just go to the sound and it will kind of do all that for you. So I think that makes it easier too, because then you don't have to go and find the filter and add the sound later. It's just all in one. So that's also a good way, going to the sound page, to kind of see more about like what is the trend about. So if you find something, you're like, oh, that could work for lifeguarding, I would always recommend like go and see what is this trend actually about and is it actually appropriate for what you're doing. This is an example of how it looks like when you're recording a video. So I just took some screenshots the other day. So this one on the left, this is the video recorder. So obviously the big red button is what you would press to record a video. You can flip it from the front facing camera to the back facing camera. You can change the speed of the recording. I think these buttons do the same thing. So if you wanted to record something in slow-mo or record something super fast, you can do that. There's a beauty filter. It's a great skin smoothing filter. Use it if you want. It sometimes looks pretty fake though, so just caution there. There's other filters just to kind of change the color and the lighting. There's the trim button. So this one can be important. So if you're using a song, so some songs are in TikTok as like the full song. And if you want to use a part of the song that's not the beginning of the song, then you would use trim. And then you just kind of scroll through it until you get the portion of the song that you want. You always want to make sure to select the right length of video because you can't change it after you start recording. So if I am on 15 seconds and I start recording and I've done like 3 clips, and then I realize that accidentally I meant to do 60 seconds because 15 seconds is not enough, I have to start over. You can't change it to 60 seconds after you've done the clips. So make sure if it's a longer video, you switch to 60 seconds. This right here, so the timer, actually I'll show you the timer first. So there's a timer icon here that's super useful when you're trying to match with a sound. So this third clip over here shows you what the timer function looks like. There's 3 seconds and there's 10 seconds. And you can drag this little bar at the end to where you want the video to stop. So let's say I put it right here. And then I press start countdown. It'll count down from 3 or from 10. And then it will record me all the way up until wherever I put the bar, and then it stops recording. And then when you go to record your next clip, it starts from the exact same spot. So instead of having to like start and then record and then press the pause button and then cut that out later, it'll just stop recording at the exact moment that you've set it to. The middle picture here is some example of some effects. So if you look right down here, the bottom left corner, there's effects. So in this first one, I'm almost never at the pool when these videos have the pool in the background. This is a green screen background. I don't have like a special screen or anything. The video is pretty good. If you have, like if you're well lit, it will pick up you and it will remove your background and it will put in whatever you tell it to put in. So I just have this random picture of the pool. And usually I'm just in like my studio here filming a video like with this background, but I put in the pool so that it feels more like I'm actually at the pool and not in my room here. Another one that I like is this water reflection. So this one is one that I use if I'm like pretending to be in the water. You can't put a green screen in the background, unfortunately, but it's good if you're pretending to be in the water. And take note of these little symbols here if you want to use these, because you can't search. Like there's no search. You just have to look for these symbols. I've selected these as my favorites. So if you press this little tag here, it'll go into your favorites, but otherwise like you can't search for them. So take note, this is the water reflection. This is the green screen. And then this one in the middle, I used that one recently it makes you look like you're in kind of the ocean. I think it gives you like blue sky and clouds behind you too, and kind of more like of an ocean feel. This one's just more like still flat water. And then some more options for editing. Generally, like if you upload a video, TikTok kind of like automatically syncs it really well with music, but you can go in and specifically change it. So this video I actually never posted because I should have researched like how to do this trend more before I tried to do it. So the idea was there's the mirror and you're supposed to like wipe it. And then one of the times when you wipe, it cuts to another video where you have like a different outfit on or whatever. So I was like not wearing my lifeguard stuff, and then I wiped and then I was wearing it. It didn't turn out very good, so that's why I never posted it, but this is just an example of how it looks like when you're going to edit it. So let's say I already recorded my 2 videos. I can go here to adjust clips, and then this is an example of what that would look like. So there's 2 clips, and I want to make that transition really smooth. So I don't want my hand to be up here and then suddenly come back down here. I want the videos one will start and one will end when my hand's kind of in the middle of the screen. So you can do that by clicking on the different clips, and then these little red bars you can adjust. So you would just pull this one back until your hand's in a certain spot, and then you go to the other video and you would pull that one so that your hand's in the same spot, and then that's going to be kind of like your most seamless transition. It definitely takes a lot of practice to get it down. and you have to also like film the videos kind of in the exact same spot. So it's a little bit challenging, but with practice, you can get it. And then some options over here, you can add a text to your video. So anything that is important for them to read to understand the video, put it in text on the video. Do not put it in the caption, because if your video is linked somewhere else, they might not see the caption. So if it's super important to them understanding the context of the video, put it in the text box. There's lots of options. You can change the color. You can set the duration, so you can have it like only on for a few seconds or for the whole thing. And there's also text to speech now. So if you press that, then it's kind of like a Siri voice, and it will just read the text on screen out loud. I think it's really important to use text boxes and also captions on your videos, because it makes your video more accessible to people who maybe have a hearing impairment, or they prefer to read instead of listening to what you're saying. So I always put like the relevant text, and then I also put closed captions. So if I'm saying anything, or if the sound is like a song, then I put in closed captions what it's saying, so that people can read what it is if they can't hear it. So the last step is the caption. So sometimes I'll put something like, oh, let me know in the comments what your favorite trunk roll drill or something is, or just something that's like relevant to the video. But like I said, anything that they need to understand the video, put it in the text on the actual video. So you can decide here who you want to see it. So if you want it to be private, you can set it to private. If you want to turn off comments, you could do that here. So if something's like super controversial and people are like arguing, you might turn off the comments. A lot of people do that if there's something that kind of gets out of hand and they don't want to delete the video, they just turn off the comments. If you want to allow people to duet and stitch the videos, which we talked about earlier, then this will just, I think this allows people to save it to their device. This doesn't mean it's going to save it to your device. It just means people will have the option. And like I said, sometimes I'll film a bunch of videos and just save them as drafts, and then I just wait and post like once a day. So I think we already talked about most of this. Something important is to make sure you research your trends and your sounds before posting. So obviously, as community organizations, you're probably not going to post a TikTok where the sound uses like swear words in it, right? But also kind of being aware of how much risk you are willing to take. So are you okay with using a song, like a clip of a song that doesn't have swear words, but knowing that later in the song it does, or like if the song is about something inappropriate to your audience, things like that. Just kind of being aware of what are the lyrics saying, and will my audience go and listen to that song later and think that it's inappropriate and it's not representing my organization well. So making sure that whatever you're using represents your organization's values. Internet safety, of course, is important to take into account. So when I say that, I mean that we are kind of targeting, essentially we're targeting minors, right? Which sounds bad when you say it like that, but the people who we want to watch this content are under 18, and they potentially don't know as much about internet safety as they should. So sometimes people will comment on the videos and be like, yeah, I go to that Y, I take swimming lessons there on Wednesdays. That's the kind of thing that I'll just delete, because I don't need, some creep finding that on TikTok and that compromising that person's safety. So kind of monitoring your content and your community for that as well. And then last but not least, do not take the trolls seriously. So if you thought that people on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube were like mean and will comment whatever they want because they're behind a computer screen and they can do that, people on TikTok can be even worse, because a lot of times people are like anonymous on TikTok. They don't even have their name or anything associated with their profile. So don't take them seriously. If someone comments something rude or mean, just delete it. So this is a real example of someone commenting on my video. They told me I look like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Not long after that, someone else commented and said, she kind of looks like Matthew Lillard. And I was like, that's super weird. Like, no one's ever told me that I look like either of those people. And then I realized they're the same person and I do kind of look like him. So I couldn't really be mad. I thought it was funny, to be honest. But yeah, just delete that stuff. Don't let it bring you down. Don't take it personally. So last but not least is our accounts to follow. So I'm always finding new accounts on TikTok. Some of your staff might already be on TikTok, like posting lifeguard videos and just don't know it yet. I would say those aren't the ones that I'm going to post here because sometimes they're not like the best representation. They're the kind of videos where they're like doing handstands on the water slide or like things that you don't want to promote your brand. So that's not what I'm encouraging here. Those people are on TikTok and they have a lot of followers too. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I think they're contributing to making lifeguarding cool again, but it's not something that I want to encourage. So these accounts, I think, are wholesome representations of lifeguarding and swimming instruction. So we have at Superhero Swim Academy. This guy is pretty popular. He usually just posts videos of, he has like a private swim school and he posts videos of his swimmers. They're all like really good swimmers. He's obviously a very good instructor. And again, with internet safety, I don't post our swimmers on TikTok. I would never do that like without their permission. He obviously has permission from these families to be doing this. And that's something that you would want to do as well if you're going to be posting families or children on your account. This is a newer account, so Elemental Aquatics. She posts some really good swimming tips, so teaching swimming lessons to people with disabilities, lots of different tactics. She's newer, but she has a lot of good content already, and I would definitely recommend checking her out. And then My Swim Pro is more like a competitive swimming one, but they have a lot of followers as well. And I find they post some pretty good like swim drills and things like that on their page that are useful for teaching like more advanced swimmers. And then some other accounts. So I recently found, like I said, the Canadian Red Cross. Definitely check out their ice safety video. It's so good. There's pretty much a Red Cross account for like every country. So I also have the American one here, but there's like the British Red Cross, the Kenyan Red Cross. I follow all of them because I don't know, I think that it's a similar audience, right? And I want to know what they're posting and keeping up with. And then this is an example of an account who uses their account for like staff engagement and hiring. They were recently posting about like how you can apply for a job at Sunsplash, Arizona. So definitely check them out if that's something that you want to use TikTok for, kind of see what they're doing and how they're using it for that purpose. There's probably lots of other great accounts. These are just a few that I would recommend and that I love following and engaging with. So my last piece of advice, I think I already said it. I didn't say work smarter, not harder, but work smarter, not harder. If you're thinking like this is really challenging and I need help, get one of your staff to help you. Like I can guarantee most of you have someone on your team who would be interested in helping you get this going, and it would be a great way to engage your staff team and get them involved in what you're doing. So would highly recommend that. So I guess that is all of my content for today. So I don't know how this works. Katie, what do we do for questions?
Well, first I want to say thank you because I have so many ideas and I'm so inspired that it's kind of scary because I don't want to add TikTok to the plate. I've been tracking questions.
It's so addicting.
So I have been tracking questions as we go. Let's start with those and we'll give people a chance also to add them to the chat box. And if anybody has to hop out, I am recording this session, so feel free to leave and then come back to the recording in a few weeks when it's posted. But I want to start, Darcy, first with permission. How did this go down with your organization? Hey, I want to do TikTok. What does that look like? Because I know a lot of organizations are so anti-trendy social media.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So Katie mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, I'm like an aquatic specialist within our organization. I don't even technically like work with the marketing team. So I connected with our marketing team. So we have like a VP of marketing and we talked about the account and kind of what it would be used for and if I had permission to do that. So I would definitely definitely absolutely recommend connecting with whoever would be in charge of that at your organization, making sure it's something that you're allowed to do, that it fits within like your social media or electronic use policy. Definitely do that before you start your account. Yeah, rather be safe than sorry. I had like the blessing of our our VP of marketing. He really believed in it and supported me in starting the account. But yeah, Katie, like you said, some organizations might not feel that way, and it might not be something that they're comfortable with. So definitely ask for permission before you start the account, because especially if you're representing an organization. If you're starting an account, just kind of like a personal account, then of course, like that's up to you. But if you're representing your organization, then you should make sure that it aligns with what they're doing for sure.
And to give people some ammunition going into that meeting, because I know a lot of us are thinking, well, I don't even want to request that meeting. They're just going to say no. I think doing some market research and saying, well, look, here's this YMCA in Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario. Here's what they're doing. Here's how it's professional. Creating some guidelines for what you will post, how you plan to use it. Like, is it for recruitment? Is it for general education? And then also connecting it back to some other accounts like Darcy shared, American Red Cross, Canadian Red Cross, finding those local institutions, maybe it's the library, maybe it's a movie theater, and really connecting it to your community, as well as just saying, you know, I was on a TikTok just while we were doing this session from the Washington Post, right? A major news organization is using TikTok for the Suez Canal, right? That's what we were all talking about last week, right? So they did a TikTok from the perspective of the captain who crashed the boat in the Suez Canal, right? So it's a little bit tongue in cheek. We're not taking ourselves too seriously in advertising, but it's also being relevant.
Yeah, totally.
How did you come up with the name? That's another question.
Yeah, that's also a good question. I wanted to make it something that was like easy for people to remember. So when we were kind of pushing it out to our staff, so something like short, obviously I work at the Y, so it has to do with the Y. And I honestly, when I started the account, I wasn't sure if it was just going to be Aquatics. So I feel like I kind of left it a little bit generic. And now, like I said earlier, right, I'm realizing like it should just be Aquatics for what we're trying to do. I would say research your account name though before you pick it, because I did find out we were doing like some staff engagement pieces like way back last year in March. And I was like, yeah, like use hashtag Y Squad. And then when I looked that up, I realized it was already a super popular hashtag in India. So I should have figured that out before I started telling people to use it. So sometimes, yeah, we get like this random engagement or content from India because of, I don't even know what it is being used for in India, but yeah, research your username and your hashtags and stuff before you use them. I learned that one the hard way.
Well, and a lot of organizations will have a social media policy. I'm sure the YMCA does in Ontario, you know, what's covered, like you said. So we don't do children or families or members or clients without a waiver or discussion. Like there's explicit protocols. Was there anything specific you had to design for TikTok, or that communications has come back, marketing has come back and said, you know what, we want to make sure you don't touch this. We want to stick to these kind of core topics?
Honestly, our organization has been very relaxed, like with kind of letting me take the reins. Like I feel like they just really trusted me to do this. I know that I think like in more broad terms, our policy for social media and electronic use is we don't ban people. Like I know some organizations, they say, don't even wear your uniform in a picture that you post on Facebook or you can get fired. Like we were already like more relaxed than that anyways. I personally feel that if your social media presence aligns with the values of your organization and you're posting in the best interest of your organization, then I think that it should be encouraged, right? If we have staff who want to post a picture of them in their lifeguard uniform to show their friends how cool it is to be a lifeguard and how proud they are to work at the Y, then I want them to do that, right? So that's kind of the approach that our organization has. If you're going to be posting a picture of you at a party, drinking alcohol in your lifeguard uniform, like that's a totally different story. But I think that as long as people are using it in a way that aligns with the values of your organization, then I think it should be encouraged, right? It's free advertising when people are doing things like that. So yeah, we have a pretty relaxed policy. For the most part on our TikTok, it's just me. So I never really have to worry about like, do I have a waiver or permission? But definitely if we were ever going to post children or even staff, like our staff all sign photo release forms when they get hired. So I would, definitely cover yourself in that way. Know your organization's policies and restrictions so that you don't get yourself in trouble.
So I want to talk a little bit about workflow, and then we'll get to Julia's question about momentum. So you shared some like making drafts, and maybe you're batching some content, so you're not taking time out of your day every day or every couple days to make the content. Can you talk to us about workflow? So it sounds like you're not doing any Facebook or Instagram. You're just able to focus on TikTok. And how much time would you estimate either in a day or a week or a month that you're spending on this?
That's a great question. Yeah, our organization has Facebook and Instagram, but for Aquatics, it's just the TikTok account. So that's kind of like my main focus. So it kind of depends like how much time you have to be able to put into it, right? Like you could just do like a couple hours a week making a few videos and that could be it. Or if you want to really get good quality, like you want to make a really cool transition video, it might require some more commitment of time. So I would say generally in a week, it kind of depends on the video. Some of them take longer than others. It also depends how much of like a perfectionist you are. Yeah. So I always want my videos to be like perfect. But if you're not a perfectionist, then yeah, it only takes 15 seconds to film a TikTok, right? So it depends how many times you need to film it to get the 15 seconds right. So yeah, you can definitely create content in only an hour or two a week and kind of just post it sporadically. So like I was saying, I usually film a few videos, when I have like my hair clean and stuff, like working in aquatics. Yeah. Sometimes we have our pool hair for a couple days. So yeah, anyways, I like to film a few in a row and then just save them to my drafts and post them every couple of days so that it's kind of continuous and not just I'm posting 6 videos on one day and then I don't post again for 2 weeks.
Well, and I think that's so key. A couple of things you mentioned earlier in this session that could apply to almost any social media platform is being focused, but also providing value. Because if you're just posting at the same time every day, the algorithm also recognizes that it's not that you're over posting, but it's just not engaging to people. If they're scrolling right past you, then you may as well take a break and wait till you're actually inspired. Like you said, either a really trendy topic, which is less engineered with the makeup and the hair and just like off the cuff, or thinking about something for a little bit until you have time to film it properly.
Yeah, I noticed also recently so I always wished that TikTok had a scheduling feature, which it doesn't on the app. So I wish that I could have my 7 drafts and then I could just schedule like, oh, this one's going to go out on Tuesday at 4 and, et cetera. You can't do that on the app, but I did notice if you log into TikTok on your computer, you can schedule them that way. Oh, okay. I don't know how that works with making the videos in the app. I don't think that you can schedule videos that you made in the app, but if you had content that you were uploading, then you can schedule it through just the website on a laptop or desktop.
Well, and there's a lot of softwares. I know that's been the same issue with Instagram. So for Facebook, you've been able to pre-schedule for a while. And then Instagram, probably for the last 2 to 3 years, there are different platforms like Hootsuite or Meet Edgar where they were getting prompt to publish integration, but not even auto publish. And that was allegedly because Instagram wasn't giving out those software permissions. They didn't want to work with every software. And so it'll be interesting to see with TikTok, they want to push people to their desktop platform, but if it doesn't have the filters and all the features of the mobile app, it doesn't weird. Help you. Yeah. Well, it sounds like that's where Instagram was for a long time, and it's still taking some time to get there. Julia had a question earlier about the momentum of TikTok? Like, so obviously you talked about viral to the best that you can, but do you mostly take from the drafts, but are you also commenting on like the contemporary trends and issues? Like you're doing a mix, or what kind of balance do you find to be able to get that momentum for the account?
Yeah, I find it kind of like ebbs and flows. Like there'll be times where, yeah, like every day I'm getting new followers, and then there's times when there's like nothing and like no one's commenting on my posts and stuff. So I find when things are slow, that's kind of when I try to be more intentional about doing stuff. So I'll go to like those other pages that I shared, right? And I'll comment on their videos, or I'll like when I see other people commenting things about lifeguarding or teaching swimming lessons, and I think they might like my stuff, I'll like their comments. So then they get a notification and they might be more likely to see my videos. So kind of just being intentional about engaging with your audience in different ways, I think is a good way to kind of get that back up. But yeah, it's can be so unpredictable. Like you can be getting tons of views and suddenly it just, they don't show your videos to anyone anymore. So taking kind of a break when you're feeling that happening, switching up your strategy, right? Like if you're posting at 5 o'clock every day, switching that up so it's kind of a little bit less predictable. Just trying new things, I think all kind of contribute to that momentum for sure.
Well, and it's always changing too. We had a session last year with Paul Macias from Instagram, who runs FBH2O, a great aquatics account. And we were having a conversation about the fact that what was relevant when we filmed that webinar, a year ago, the algorithm in Instagram, right? It changes. And you could be, I know for me on Instagram, I could have the best, most well-written content that's educational and a great photo, and it just sinks like a rock, right? You get 6 people liking it, and you're kind of sad because you're thinking like, I spent a lot of time. And then, off the cuff, like I don't post a lot of food right now because restaurants are mostly closed, but an off the cuff kind of meal, and it's got nothing to do with pools, right? And people are all over it because it's just a different mood, right? So you do have to, true. I think like you said, not take it too seriously because you're still a great aquatics professional, whether or not the TikTok likes you today.
Yeah, that's very true.
What do you feel about resharing? How have you found, do your TikToks get reshared to social, Facebook or Instagram, other Y accounts, or do you focus on that at all, or you just let it live on TikTok?
Yeah, I don't necessarily it's not something that I actively do. I find that when videos are shared outside of TikTok, so as we saw today, right, like those videos that I was showing you guys, the music doesn't match up with the video the same way that it does on TikTok. So you can post a TikTok to an Instagram story, or you can make it an Instagram post. I don't think that they usually work very well in an Instagram post, because on TikTok, it's like a tall rectangle, and then Instagram is a square or like a wide rectangle. So that's something to be aware of if you are going to share on Instagram, that it's going to cut off the top and the bottom of your video. So if you have important information in the text, or that's where your face is, right, it's going to cut those off. I think the things that are more successful sharing in that way, like the clown video, for example, it doesn't affect it whether or not the music really matches up, because I'm not moving my mouth for those ones. But yeah, it's not as good of an experience off of TikTok, but I do appreciate when other people do it, right? Like when someone watches the video and they want to share it with their friends, like in a Instagram group chat or something, because it always leads back to the TikTok, right? It always kind of links back to it. So I do appreciate when other people are sharing the content within and outside of TikTok, but it's not something that we purposely do, because it usually doesn't transfer very well outside of TikTok.
That kind of leads into another question both Marjan and Julia had, which was moving the TikTok over to Instagram Reels. If that's something like you did download it for the YouTube, would you consider doing that, or only if it lines up better?
Yeah, actually, I forgot about Instagram Reels. Actually, now that you say that, a lot of people do that. They'll post the same content from TikTok to Instagram Reels. So that works. I think, yeah, if you have downloaded it and then you re-upload it, then the audio and stuff matches a little bit better, I think. I do think that the sounds on TikTok, I know I've seen some people who try to post their TikTok on Instagram Reels and they can't use the same sound just because like copyright and stuff. But yeah, a lot of people do share TikToks on Instagram Reels. So if you're using Instagram, then yeah, you can definitely do that.
Is there an option within TikTok to download it, or do you have to use a third-party ripper to pull it off of the website?
You can download it. So I think as the creator, you always have the option to download it. So it's just like an option on the right-hand side, like share, and then you can save video. And then I was showing on where you go to publish the video, you can toggle whether you want other people to be able to download it. So if you don't want people to download your video, you could turn that off. But again, yeah, they could just use a software or they could screen record it to download it in that way too. And actually a tip that I have for that, so when you download a video from TikTok, it will put these like TikTok logos all over it. I don't know if you guys saw that in the YouTube video today. If you have an iPhone, you can save it as a live photo and then in your photos, turn it into a video and it doesn't have the logos all over it. So that's a tip if you don't want the little TikTok logo flying all over your video. It kind of takes away from it a little bit.
Well, and I have seen on some websites, I'll have to think of an example, but I was on a professional website and a blog page, they were using a shortened TikTok, almost like a GIF, right? Or a meme. And it was kind of fun. It was embedded in a long article. And I don't know what extra work they had to do that, but they had scrubbed the TikTok logos. And I think if you've got the right content, right, it's just that snapshot, even like the one you showed with the clearing the pool for a Band-Aid, that on its own, you don't need the full video for context, right? If it's an aquatic audience, they're going to get it.
Totally, yeah.
For the music that you showed us how to integrate, you only have the sound files that are copyright accessible to TikTok, correct? And that's by region and whatever section of the song they've allowed?
Yes, yeah. So sometimes there's like a song that I really want to use and it's not on TikTok. And like you could kind of get around that. You could make a video outside of TikTok and put the song in it, but then you always risk that it's going to get removed for a copyright claim, right? So I find like most of the popular stuff is on TikTok, like songs wise, and then people always upload their own sounds. Some of them are pretty weird. Like some of them are so strange. Like when I was talking about the lip syncing ones, like my arms were cut off or whatever. Yeah, I have no idea what that's from. But people were just using it to make videos like that. Like they would lip sync to it and kind of just put their own context over it. And it probably seems so weird from like an outside perspective, but it was trending on TikTok. So you just kind of got to follow with what's happening, even if you don't really 100% get what's going on.
Well, and I think that connects back to one of the concerns that I had about TikTok as a as a social media platform. I'm wondering your take, Darcy. So you mentioned at the beginning that it's extremely specific to you and your life, like in terms of aquatics, like lifeguarding, swimming instructing, water safety. That's a very narrow niche, right? That's not all women of a certain age or all Canadians of a certain age. Do you ever find that frustrating that it's so limiting, or do you think the engagement is so high that it's worth it with the smaller audience but super engaged?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's worth it. I think, yeah, there's definitely a small group of engaged people, but also like lifeguarding, the people who are lifeguards, it's not like all those people fall into the same bucket in every other kind of corner of their life, right? So I think that there's different groups of people within the group too, right? Like we have the younger people, we have people who are also students, and just so many different communities within the community that the only thing that I would say I'm worried about ever is, so I use sounds and like trends that are trending because I saw them on my For You page. Sometimes I worry, like, is this trending with the young people, or was this just trending for me? Right. Or like, is this sound from a very specific corner of TikTok that I think is really popular, but like this audience is actually going to be like, where, like, that's the first time I've ever heard that, even though it's like every other video on my For You page uses this sound. But maybe it's actually someone else's first time ever hearing it and they don't get it. That's what I'm more worried about. Yeah.
I think on any social media platform, there's the ability, like that's at play, like, because we do get the algorithm showing us what it knows we like, and it doesn't necessarily give us opposing views or different perspectives. But I think one way around that to an extent could be just following a couple of generic, more classic accounts. Like you said, the Canadian Red Cross is going to be trendy up to a point. And so if you see something on just a big account or a higher volume player, it's going to give you some perspective if they're reacting to something like the Suez Canal boat or not, then, or is it done and over with, right? Has the moment passed?
Yeah, I agree for sure.
Marjan has a question about fonts, and this got me wondering, all of your videos are different, or are you trying to do brand continuity? Because that's a big thing on Instagram. I don't know what that's like on TikTok.
Yeah. I try and use, so for my captions, or not my captions, I guess my text on the videos, I try to always use the same color for like the text background, so that, when you go to my profile, that they kind of look like they're all related, right? So I'm always wearing like my red lifeguard shirt and my red lifeguard sweater. And then I usually use like a teal kind of color for my text. There's only, I want to say, like 3 or 4 options for the font on TikTok. It's like one normal font, and there's like a neon font and a cursive font. So there's not really a lot of options that way. But yeah, I like to use the same colors. So for the font, the text, you can also put like stickers on, to kind of make everything look cohesive when they go to your page.
Yeah, well, and I think for anybody who's starting out, just start out small and get started going. Make a few, maybe it's a private account, see how it goes. And then whether you're integrating text or stickers or filters or, expanding, different from Instagram or Facebook, right? Start with something and then figure out kind of what works.
Yeah.
I want to do a last call for questions. Any last call for questions in the chat box? Really great Q&A with Darcy Bainbridge from the YMCA in Three Rivers, right? Is that correct?
So I originally worked at the YMCA of Cambridge and Kitchener-Waterloo. And recently, like in October, we unified with the YMCA of Guelph and the YMCA of Stratford. So now we are called the YMCA of Three Rivers, like all 3 of us.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, that's good to see that unification. Here in Alberta, I know they've done something similar. The YMCA of Northern Alberta, YMCA of Southern Alberta, regionally, to get better integration between facilities for training and courses and create some synergies pre-COVID. Yeah, no, it's been good so far to have more resources. Yeah. All right. Well, letting a few people type, I think we've hit the end of the questions. So I want to say a big thank you to Darcy. This has been such an amazing session. I know a lot of people are going to get great value from watching this recording, and many of the presentation slides you can find on the show notes, which are pinned on the chat box. You can also see currently those unlisted links to the examples that she's collected from TikTok. Definitely go to the TikTok account Y_squad and see everything, but for a selection, or maybe even looking at some like very safe, appropriate examples of where to start, she's collected them in some good playlists. So that is pretty much it for today. This is the last webinar of 2021. Don't know if we'll be back next year. This is where we're at for this year. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here today.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here, Darcy. If you want, you can head out. I'll just wait a few minutes, see if there's anybody who has any questions for me. But you guys can look for this recording in a couple weeks on our YouTube channel. And thank you so much for your support.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Katie.
Thanks so much, guys.
Bye.